All right. Well, hope everyone is having a good Wednesday there. I'm in lovely Park City, Utah, and I'm just bringing that up because in a few short weeks I'll be saying I am calling from Park City, Utah. I'm snowed in. I can't get even my Jeep out of the garage, and so we're loving the weather while we're here. I want to share with you kind of what I evaluated in determining whether or not I wanted to come on board and be in Ariix, and hopefully it allows you to use the same points. If you have a different set of criteria, that's fine, but I can tell you that these particular ones are from me being in the industry for now 23 years, evaluating, looking at a lot of different companies, consulting leaders, being interviewed by Larry King, various different things that led me to be able to evaluate a company the way that I do. The very first thing that I look at is whether or not the company is going to go long term. If you've got a company that's 10 or 15 years, it looks pretty good that the company is going long term, provided, of course, they don't switch on you and decide that they're going to take the company retail. And that's a very, very common thing, by the way, so don't think that that's a rare thing. It just means that you haven't heard it yet. But I assure you that there are many, many companies that occurs with. So basically you go out there and you make the product valid. You make people reach for it so that then the company can then take it to a retail company and say, look how many sales that we have, look how valuable this is, and so then the buyers of that company say, yeah, it is good, we'll pay you X amount of dollars. The company gets bought out, and all the distributors' agreements are terminated. And so just because a company is older doesn't necessarily mean that the company is going to go long term for you. All right. So, but if you're looking at a new company, there are particular points that you have to evaluate. And the main point I want to make on this is that companies don't grow, companies don't build no more than buildings build. It requires a human being. And so anytime you're evaluating a company, you have to go inside and take a look at who it is that's actually operating the thing, who is responsible for it growing or failing. And so I drive in on that. Two primary people that I evaluated was Fred Cooper and Mr. Mark Wilson. And those two people I had worked with for 8 years, 7 to 8 years, prior to looking at Ariix. And they were with another company, a $500 million company. I was on the inside of that company often, and so I knew who got jobs done, who did things. Any of you can observe that wherever you go, you can see those people who are getting things done, and then you see a group of others that are watching people who get those done, or they might assist in a particular way. But there is normally one or two people that really make things happen, and so I had observed that. I knew them quite well, and when you can't do any deeper forensic research than if you know them for a period of time. And that means that I knew how they treated their friends, how they treated their family, and how they treated their enemies. And so that was the basis of my evaluation. I felt very, very comfortable of them leading. The company that they built, $500 million company, was the most efficiently run, publicly traded network marketing company on the New York Stock Exchange or any exchange. And so that bodes very, very well in my evaluation that they'll be able to do it here. And so if you can just imagine that there were a pile of leaders that transferred out away from that $500 million company to come here. That didn't mean that they're like typically the way these companies start in this industry is that you'll have one are two people who will step out. Normally it's a distributor, and normally it's some corporate person. And then they basically have to choose who's going to wear what hat. And when you start seeing many family members in the same building, then you'll know that probably they didn't choose the best person for the job. They brought in their family members to run the company. And so you're betting your future on it. You are betting your reputation on it. And it has never been something that I was willing to bet. All right, so that tells you a little bit about whether or not the company will go long term. I feel very confident that it will. The second thing that I evaluate is whether or not the products are going to sell outside of the network. This is a limiting factor, meaning that I have witnessed when products don't sell outside the network, you get the conversation of saturation very quickly, because the only consumers of the product are the people who are building a business. Where if you have a product that is valuable to the consumer on the outside of the network, meaning if they don't want to participate in the business, but they want the product and they continue to consume the product, that is normally a very valuable company from the product standpoint. And I'd like to walk you through, and if you have the ability to take notes, I would highly advise you to do so. And the way I want to picture this is that there is a mall analogy. And so everyone, if you will, just picture that you have that you're looking at a mall. And like we've got a mall here in Salt Lake City, and it's called Gateway Mall. And so you picture your own, and I want you to just picture that on either side of the mall, you'll have something that's very common. You're going to have what's known as an anchor tenant. And an anchor tenant is a very large tenant. So typically you're going to have Nordstrom's, you're going to have a Macy's, Saks Fifth Avenue, Neiman Marcus, something like that. That is very common. The other thing, and what is that? What does that represent? What that represents is that's the flow of traffic. In other words, they're the people who get the traffic in the door. And because they are so large in terms of square footage, they occupy the most amount of square footage, and so therefore they're able to pay most of the bills. Okay, and so I want to bounce now back over to network marketing, and I want you to picture something that in this industry, network marketing, what you have is that typically your anchor tenant in network marketing is going to be nutrition and skincare. And the reason why you will typically see those types of products is because those are daily consumption based. And so if you want to build a very stable business that you're going to have for a long term, then what you really want to make sure is that you get those daily consumable items. All right, so that's going to make up your anchor tenant. So as Ariix is growing, it's starting out in what I feel is though very accurate, very proper positioning, and that is that they're going to get that anchor tenant in place. And then skincare is going to come into place. Okay, these are going to be opened up in division concepts or separate department stores if you wanted to look at them that way. And where that is very valuable to you is that it allows diversification, not just in product diversification, but in recruiting diversification. The kinds of people who will do skincare might be a little bit different than the people who will do nutrition. And so it gives you a diversification. And if they're under different identities, then that allows for them to express themselves in the identity that they love. And so where I'd like to jump off just a second, have you look at the way a lot of companies run themselves. They'll open up, and there's some wise man that walks across some Outback or some, reservation or something, and they come back and they say there's this particular fruit. And then they squeeze the fruit, they put it in a jar. They name the name of the product the same name as they name the company. Therein lies a very limiting situation. Number one is there is no product diversification with that. You're sitting there staring in the teeth of the bear because all that you're waiting on is some person to have some violent reaction, some scientist to come along and say, no, 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 that's bad. And then your entire business is built on that one item. And so you have to be very, very careful with that. The other thing is that when you're out there building a business on that, you have a particular problem, and that is that if somebody doesn't like the juice, then they're out, right? There's no chance of that person coming in and being in business with you, and so it's very limiting that way. All right, so going back to the mall analogy, if you have your two anchors in place, then you're allowed to basically open up small shops or stores. You can refer to them as in the French name of boutique if you want to. And Ariix is going to open up several of these boutiques. And one of them that I am extremely passionate about, and it'll probably come next, is Healthy Baby Academy. And Healthy Baby Academy, as it sounds, it'll teach mothers and families how to have healthy babies. All right. The reason I'm so passionate about this particular one is my wife just had a baby, and when we started our research, nobody wants to have an unhealthy baby. So we started our research and thought, how do we have the most healthy baby? Is it something that we can control at all? And we found out that it very much is. And so as we put together the pieces so that we could have a healthy baby, and what I mean by that is that where mama isn't in pain the entire pregnancy, where her delivery is not a catastrophe, and where the baby is as birth defect free as possible. Okay, so that was kind of what our criteria was in evaluating this. So Healthy Baby Academy, of course, will drive both divisions. Okay, so if you think about nutrition and you think about skin care, our skin care line is going to be focused exclusively on non-toxic skin care. There's a extremely well-known scientist in the toxins world, and he makes the claim that the skin care that a typical person puts on their skin is more dangerous and more destructive and toxic than if you were to smoke every day. And so that there's the one criteria that the whole mall is going to have is that it has to be very healthy for you, and it cannot do any damage. And so when you start hearing people talk about that acceptable quantities, there's no acceptable quantity of a poison. All right, there just cannot be. And so that's going to be our primary direction on that. So Healthy Baby Academy would be like a boutique store. Healthy Home would be another one, so that we educate people about their home, about products that can go in their home. You show me asthma, I'm going to show you Lysol in a house. Some of these things that we get, our kids get, things like that, it's because of the environment that we live in. And so Healthy Home is going to be a very, very good division, if you will. Healthy Finance is another one, and if you think about that one for just a little bit, there's a lot of difficulties that are going on right now in the economy. And so Healthy Finance would be one where we teach people how to buy real estate, how to trade stocks, how to handle their taxes, how to incorporate LLCs, corporations, things like that. And so that would be Healthy Finance. And so I hope you can see that the way this whole company is going to grow is by divisions. And I've never seen a situation to where anybody has done this right. And I'll tell you why I think that is because I've never met a company that actually knew who they were. In other words, network marketing companies often think that they are product companies, and they are not. And so when I look at what Ariix is doing, what it knows is that it is an opportunity company. It knows that what its job is to offer opportunities to people who want to build their own business, utilizing the resources of the company. And what resources am I talking about? Well, product divisions, country divisions. Okay, so when the company opens up a new country, let's say Japan or something like that, well, it would typically take a business owner $1 million or more to get himself into Japan and China, things like that. So you're talking about enormous outflow of finance expense for you if you were just solely wanting to do this yourself. And so you get to utilize the resources of Ariix in order to grow into these other countries. And so this mall concept is very, very significant. And it's probably one of the fundamental reasons why I'm in Ariix is for that purpose. And so really evaluate that. If you take a look at the products that we've got now and you say, oh, ho-hum, not that big of a deal, you got to understand where we're going. Of course, we're going to have drinks, and we're going to have meal replacements, and we're going to have weight management. We're going to have various different things inside that nutrition facility, if you will, that big giant thing. We're going to have those things. But when you're a brand new company, what you want to do is you want to build based upon a very small number of SKUs. And what are SKUs? SKUs are the number of items in a warehouse. And so if you have an enormous amount of different items in a warehouse, then you have inventory control, you have enormous amounts of money invested into various products. You don't know whether or not they're going to sell or not. And so when you're launching a company such as Ariix is, then you just can't even imagine how brilliant this is. Okay, so when I evaluate how a company is launching itself, they're doing it all right. All right, so don't look at the current product now and say, well, that's the products. If you compare that to a 15, 20, 30-year-old company and you say, oh, well, I would rather be over there or whatever, well, great, but just recognize the difference in timing. This is the pre-launch phase of a company that's going to go very, very big. All right? Okay, so one other item that I want you to just evaluate is that I want you to just picture that inside of the mall you have a GNC. Okay, so they're a nutrition company in there. And inside a GNC you have a person who is selling nutritional products, if you will. Okay, so there's a clerk there. They typically get hired. They're in college or something like that, and so they sell products inside a GNC. You also have the person who owns the franchise. Okay, so they put GNC there. And then external from there, you have the person who sold the mall. Recognize when you're talking to someone as to whether or not they are the person that wants to be inside of any one of these particular divisions selling the product. Do they want to just focus on that one thing, meaning like a franchise, like that's going to be one boutique shop that they're going to focus on, versus people who sell them all. The person who put them all there is not doing anything wrong. They're not illegal. You might say, well, they're not selling the products. Well, the person who put them all there aren't either. But yet there's millions of dollars of products moving out of the facility that he put there. So right now, if I were to differentiate those for you, right now the focus is, in the pre-launch phase, is we're looking for people who want to put them all there. Find people who want to put them all there. And then a little bit later on, we're going to be able to diversify quite a bit there, and there's going to be people who are just crusading around Healthy Baby Academy. And they may or may not even know about these other divisions in the company. They don't even know about it because they're just, focused on that one thing, kind of like the GNC. They're just focused right in there building that. And so, if you're one who just really, really likes to focus on one thing and one thing alone, great. If you're a person who likes to sell the whole mall, find business owners who want to position malls all over the world, doing great. All right. So that's the products, and I absolutely am certain that they will sell outside the network. Number 3 is whether or not the company will grow. I have nicknamed this the mojo. They've got the mojo. They've got the momentum. They've got the magic. And this is something I tell you, it was so confusing to me for so long that I would find a company that had remarkable products, fairly priced, but they just can never get the company to grow. The company is 15 years old, but they cannot get past $100 million in sales. Why in the world is that? Well, because they don't have the mojo. Now, what's the mojo? Well, the mojo is that they were never able to attract the leaders, those leaders who just inject that life force into a company. And so Ariix has the mojo. We just crossed 20,000 people in 3.5 months. All right, that's insane. That's insane growth. You cannot fathom how big of a growth that is for us already in just a pre-launch phase. And so many companies do not grow. So few people know how to evaluate that correctly. And companies sometimes try to buy leaders, and that rarely works out. Ariix did not buy me. I got the same comp plan that you've got, all right, and I wanted it to be that way. Number 4 is, will I be compensated well for my efforts? This has to do with the compensation plan. If you've heard we're a binary, that's correct. If you've heard that we are a uni-level or level-based company, that's correct also. There are 2 compensation plans. There is no way anyone can dislike our comp plan, all right? Just simply because they took everything that's great about a binary, and they kept it. Everything great about a uni-level. And what I love about a uni-level is that it rewards you residual income for a long, long time. I'm still being paid off of what I built between 1990 and 1995. I'm still being paid for that. Good, large money, right? So when I was talking with Mr. Fred Cooper, and he is the gentleman who wrote the compensation plan. He was teaching math at the University of Utah. Okay, brilliant guy. He's written a lot of compensation plans, knows this better than anybody that I know of, and I know a lot of people who write comp plans. And I told him, I said, look, I need, in order for me to go out and talk to the big people out there, I need a comp plan that's going to give them a residual income. I have been around companies where they been working for 15, 20 years. They're not making the money that I made in 5 short years. And they're working like a dog still. And I said, I want a business that I can show them residual income. And he said, what did you have where you were? And I said, I was 5% down 7 levels. I was 5% down 6 levels deep. And he said, okay, I'll give you the 7th level. Wow. Wow is all I can say. That is humongous. And so that's on the uni level. And then on the binary side, I'd never worked a binary before, but I'll tell you now that I've been building it, I love it. I absolutely love it. It forces a person to build teammanship. And that means that you're just building 2. And you build that 2 until you're making $2,000 a week in income. And then you can build another line. And then you can build another line. Well, where I was before, I built 16 of those lines. And so that would be 16 times 2 per week. Okay, so it's a very substantial compensation plan. There's no doubt in my mind that I'll be rewarded well for my efforts with Ariix. And so that was one of the criteria that I checked off. There's also a lot of other things in there, just so that you know. I'm not giving you all the details. Luxury car bonus that you get, $2,000 a month for a car bonus. It's a nice car, all right? And it is so achievable. Once you're making over $250, you start accumulating the car bonus, and so it's just substantial. And then the last item that I evaluated, item number 5, is whether or not the training will produce a successful representative. All right, now what does that mean? That's significant to me, is that in my past, because of my background in the U.S. Navy bomb squad, there's a difference between in the definition of training. Okay, so if a person is going to go out there and wrap their knuckles around a bomb, then how you defuse that bomb is so critical. When I got into this industry, I remember I was looking for how to build, how to do, what to do, and things like that. And then everybody started, all the distributors were running around saying, you got to go to St. Louis, you got to go to St. Louis. What's in St. Louis? Well, the secret, the training. It's going to be a training, the secrets of the business. Oh, well, I don't want to miss that. But I couldn't afford that. So I ended up selling tapes out of a backpack at a flea market to make enough money to get to St. Louis, Missouri. So you can imagine if I arrived in St. Louis, Missouri, having sold tapes to get there, I'm not going to get up and walk to the bathroom. It doesn't matter how bad I need to go to the bathroom. I'm not going because just in case somebody tells the secret, I didn't want to be in the bathroom when the secret got told. So I sat there. When I was done, I remember I was in a cab driving back to the airport to fly back to D.C. where I was living. And I was looking out the window and I thought, you know what, if the bomb squad trained their people the way that I just got trained, we would all be dead. Because fundamentally, I'll tell you what was in the training. It was a parade. People waved their hands, basically, and told their story, their difficult story, how they overcame the difficulty, and went on to build a big business. And so they're saying, if I can do it, you can too. The other training that I remember hearing a lot about was that it's not the how that's important. It's the why. If your why is important enough, then you'll figure out the how. I'm not disagreeing with that, but I will tell you that you will get the how in Ariix, okay? And I don't have to look very far past my own nose to tell you that that training is going to be there, because I'm responsible for that. I will do that. I am in the final stages right now of writing a very comprehensive video training modules to train a person in all the skills that they need. And then once the skills are done, and then we're going to go very specific on each marketing campaign. And in a marketing campaign, you have those campaigns that generate leads, and you have those campaigns that then take that prospect from point 1 to point 3, or however many steps there are in your marketing campaign. And so I'm going to be teaching that, and I'll tell you right now that the reason that no other company has been able to successfully execute the mall concept is because the training was never set up for it. And so you might have a company that has several different sections or departments or something like that, but it looked more like a Walmart. In other words, you had nutrition, and it's over on the nutrition aisle, and you had skincare, and it's over in the skincare aisle, and you had the automotive over in the automotive section. So it looked more like a Walmart instead of a specializing in a particular area. See, Walmart doesn't specialize in anything. And so that's the difference. And the reason that this has never been in play and worked properly is because the training was never set up for it. And so you would have a chiropractor who wanted to join a company, and he ended up getting some skincare in his starter kit. He got some nutrition in his starter kit, and he got some, various different other things. And that was a company's idea of building a mall. And no, it's more like a Walmart type of an environment. And so the training has to be right in order for the mall concept. And so we're setting this thing up right from the beginning. I'm the one responsible for it. And so you will get thoroughly trained. And I even set up my house for it. I've got suites on both sides of my work center, and so that people can come in and where I will train the trainers and basically sit knee to knee with people. And so if you're looking for that group, that opportunity to be on the inner circle, to really do it right, learn the business, be in the right company, then you've got it here. And so just in closing, I'll just say that I am very, very, very lucky that the gentleman who sponsored me back in 1989, his name is Rick, that he nudged me, that he got me into the business because he could obviously see that I could not do it on my own. In other words, I had excuses why I was not successful in business. In other words, in terms of income, I was certainly successful in the bomb squad. It's apparent very quickly whether or not someone's successful in the bomb squad. They are missing fingers or something like that. So he was fortunate. I'm so fortunate, is what I'm trying to say to you, is I'm lucky. I'm fortunate that he nudged me a little bit, and so I'm going to nudge you a little bit as well. I strongly encourage you to join us if you want to. There are 3 primary positions that a person normally sits at after they review this information. I call it the ABC. C means see you later, no thanks, bye. And we are certainly good with that. Why? Because your relationship with the person who got you on this call is more important to us than anything else in the world. And so feel comfortable in saying no thanks. A B is as I may be, and if that's you, call the person that got you on this call and say, hey, I'd like to get the health package. And if you're an A, and an A is absolutely. You don't see, you haven't seen everything. You don't have all your questions answered and all that stuff, but you probably hear enough to say, hey, I'm in. I want to be in that inner circle. I want to build in the pre-launch phase. I want to have that maximum upside potential. that comes from being in the beginning of a company. And so if that's you, if you're an A, then man, I can't wait to shake your hand. I want to just alert you that we're having an event in Salt Lake City, Utah in November. It's going to be November the 12th. And so you don't have to sell, hopefully you don't have to sell tapes out of the back of your backpack to get there. I would strongly urge you to be there. You will get the how-to on the training.